Yes, so the total budget for one network is up to 850,000 euro, including co-financing, which means that it's the total budget of the entire network, and then ERDF and IPA will finance a part of it, and then local co-finances will finance the rest. So every network partners, they need to find some funds from other sources to make the budget up to 100%. And also each partner needs to prepare a letter of commitment to say that they have these co-financing funds secured. So the ERDF rate depends on where the partners come from. You can see the differences in the table on your right. And also for potential partners from Norway and Switzerland, they are requested to contact their national ministry or federal offices to know exactly what resources are, should be up to 50%. For IPA, it is up to 95% from the instrument for pre-accession fund, and they also need to check if the legal framework is fully set. In Synergy, these rates are to be indicated for each partner in the section main element, subsection partners and finance, as my colleague showed you before. To get a main idea of the distribution of the budget between partners, so the average budget are for lead partner 170,000 euro up to 200,000 euro. Because the lead partner has a significantly higher budget than the project partners, to take into account the increased responsibility and staff needs. But it is a recommendation, and at the end, it is up to you, depending on the activities planned. We know that for some partners, staff costs may not be able to be covered entirely, but what is essential is to have a realistic budget. They are again a recommendation. So each partner really, they have to know their particular needs and average costs in their own countries. For example, it's not recommended to simply share the 850,000 into the numbers of partners with the same amount for everybody. You have to know in detail what are your needs and the cost in your own country. Then a special additional budget for experts is planned, but this will be paid directly by the program. So it is not included in the 850,000 euros we just talked about, and you don't have to plan it in the budget section in the application. So then we can move on to the next slide. Okay, about the different budget categories eligible. So there are 5 main categories: staff cost, office and administration, which is an automatic flat rate of 5% of staff costs. Then you have travel and accommodation for the networking needs, external expertise and services, and equipment. So all these categories are detailed in the program manual, book 1, section D. So you're invited to read it carefully before planning your budget. And at your right, you can see what the budget template looks like in Synergy, and we'll navigate a bit more into this afterwards. And then you also will find specific guidance to enter your budget figures properly into the practical guide to Synergy. So for staff cost, we refer to the appointed staff directly employed by the partner following local legislation and with supporting documents such as contracts and payslips. Are taken into account the salary, but also all legal benefits paid by the employer and that are not recovered by the institution. For office and administration, so it is a flat rate of 5% calculated directly on declared staff cost during the reporting rounds. So you don't have to calculate anything regarding this category as it is automatic, and it should cover costs like office rent, electricity, heating, and so on. So these costs cannot be reported elsewhere. So next we have okay, to give you some recommendation on HR. So we recommend that enough HR are allocated to the management. So do not underestimate this category. For the lead partners, we recommend at least 2 full-time equivalent positions, as the lead partner has to coordinate the network, obviously. We recommend the position of a project coordinator, finance officer, and communication officer that can be divided into half-time positions, for example. Having in mind that the workload also will not be steady during all the project's life, with some peaks of activity at some periods. So again, these are recommendations, but depending on your case, I don't know, maybe you have a communication service that can provide for this task already, for example. For project partners, we recommend 1 full-time equivalent that can be divided, for example, into 2 half-time project coordinator and finance officer, for example, but again, up to the partner depending on its needs. And even if we did not list it, a minimum communication activities are expected also at project partner level. So that we also remind you that the URBACT local group needs coordination, and that half of the position should be also considered for both lead partners and project partners, and that the staff cost should normally not exceed 40% of the total budget. So this limit, it's not compulsory, but it is a strong recommendation to ensure that sufficient budget remains for the other compulsory activities like travel, transnational exchanges, local group activities, communication, and so on. So it should not impact the ability of the project to perform the network and local activities and deliver the related outputs. Then all additional staff should be, if there is a higher cost for staff, it should be well explained, and a case should be made for so higher costs. And also the ULG coordinator, actually, it does not count in the 40% limit because it is linked to local activities and not to management. So then on travel and accommodation, expertise and equipment. So again, all are detailed in the program manual. But rapidly, so about travel and accommodation. So costs, they're normally either covered by daily allowances or per diems in line with your organization policy. Or there also can be real cost, and in this case, the supporting documents are the invoices. About expertise, there are 5 subcategories available depending on your specific needs, and if they cannot be covered internally by your own staff. If ULG members, experts, and other externals are traveling to the different meetings organized because they can, so their costs, they are to be planned under this category and not under travel and accommodation, which is reserved for travel cost of staff only. So one thing important is also that all partners, they need to have their expenditures certified at each reporting round. So they need to have a first level controller, and actually this control system, it varies depending on the countries. Some are centralized and free of charge, so you don't have to put any cost if you are in this case. But some are decentralized and can be appointed internally, for example. So then they're considered as staff costs. But others, they cannot. They don't have staff that can do the disposition. So they can also be service providers. So in this case, they need to be reported under FLC expertise category. Equipment now. So equipment, it can be used in very specific cases like testing actions, because indeed cost for equipment, it is not the core element of a backed project, so it should remain reasonable and clearly justified. So then some main principle around cost management. So costs, they're eligible starting the 1st June of this year. So right after the approval of your network. Then there are no advances possible, which means you need to have sufficient treasury. And the first reimbursement actually will not be made before May-June 2024. And then it is the same for the 2 next rounds of reporting, with a delay of around 1 year each time. Then the costs, they must be borne by the partner organization in order to be eligible. Preparation costs are not eligible. About reallocation, so a reallocation between budget categories over 20% is possible, but only through a reprogramming process that will intervene only after 1.5 years. Then we remind you of the principle of sound financial management and cost efficiency, with a priority given to options which demonstrate a lower environmental costs, having in mind, for example, that all meetings are not necessary in-person meetings, depending on the needs for traveling, and that a balance between in-person meetings and digital meetings is recommended. As well as lowest environmental cost option, even if they are more expensive. And then all contracts shall comply with the basic principle of procurement rules, depending on the amount of the contracts. Then we'll move to Synergy again. So I will share my screen. Synergy. Okay, so I think you can now see it. Okay. Okay, so I'm back on the main page, and I'll go directly to the section 8 about budgetary proposal. So in the section 8.1, this section, you can check again if the ERDF rate is good and in line with the budget category. So this is filled automatically with what you already filled before in the main element section. So you have a different table depending on your partners. If you have only partners with ERDF, then you only have this first table. But if you have also IPA partners or Norway, there will be a table apart. Then we move to next chapter. 8.2 is ERDF per year. So this means this should be the total ERDF for all network per year. So the total of the 3 line is actually the total ERDF budget. It is not calculated automatically. So when you arrive at this stage, you should already have your figures ready with the total budget and the total ERDF amount. So for you to prepare, we invite you to use actually the Excel templates that are available on the Get Involved page. Then you tick the box when you're finished and you save. Then you have the same for IPA per year in 8.3. Then 8.4 are expenditures per partner per year and budget category. So in this page, you need to go to click on the little icon here for each partner, and you will first need to select the option relevant to URBACT. Do not try to select the other one, only this one is relevant for our program. You select it, and then it will appear green in this sentence. Then you will select for each subcategory the paper and pen icon, and you will fill actually for each year, not 2026, so this is to be ignored, the budget per partner. Then you will click on save and move to the next category. You don't have to write anything in this category input budget neither. So click on save. The amounts are correctly saved. So for each subcategory and then for each partner, you will fill all the subcategories. Then here, like for all your partners, yeah, then you tick the box and you save. Okay, let's go back. 8.5 is actually a recap. It is filled automatically with the figures you already filled before. So here you don't have to report anything. And 8.6 is the same, is a recap. And here you have some links that are activated, but do not click on them because it will generate errors. So this is also summarized. Okay. 8.7. So here you need to give some justification about your budget justification for each of the categories. Why are they essential for your activities? And we arrive at the signature page. So now you are in the end of the form, and when you're ready to submit, not before, you will need to click on the control button, control the global coherence of the form data. Okay, I will click on this, and then the controls will appear. And if the table is green, it means it's good. You have correctly filled the table. But if it's red, yes, I have some red, then means that something is missing. It can be like information, mandatory information is missing, or you can see I only have 3 partners here, so whereas the minimum is 8, so I cannot send my application if I don't have the minimum. And you will not be able to submit your application if you still have some red parts.
Thank you, Manon. I think we're not like when after Manon clicked, there is a pop-up that you will see. We are not seeing it because it's on a new window, but
This is another.
No worries. So basically, once you click on the control, a new window will pop up, and you can go through all the control messages that you get. If they're red, then you know where you have to go back and
okay,
exactly, and where you have to correct. And as Manon said, until everything is not green, you cannot submit your application.
And then once submitted, you will receive an email from Synergy confirming you have successfully submitted your application. Exactly.
Okay. So we have very little time. I just wanted to remember you that the application procedure is divided into 2 steps. So as we said, you have until 31st of March until 5 p.m. CHESS time to submit your application through this system. And again, I'm referring to the lead partners. And after that, you have time until 3rd of April, same hour, to send the application package by email to the email address apn@urbach.eu. And this email, note it down, because again, all questions we didn't have the time to take or answer in the chat. However, our colleague Celine answered as much as she could through this 1 hour. Whatever is left in your mind unanswered, write it to us to this same email address. And to this email address, you will have to send the application package by 3rd of April, containing the signed PDF of the application generated by Synergy. Once you have submitted it, will be a PDF generated. You have to sign it and send it by email, together with signed letters of commitment and the CV in English of the project coordinator of the lead partner. Go on our, again, you can go on our webpage, Get Involved, where you can find all important documents for this call, like terms of reference, the guide for applicants, the program manual, and today we will upload also the guide to Synergy with all the screenshots and all the descriptions that me and Manon gave to you orally today. You will find it written on this guide, and templates for the application, budget templates and the application form templates. So I hope this was helpful for you all. I hope we could answer as many questions as we could. Again, we have our email address, where you can write us all your doubts and problems, and we will come back to you with an answer. So thank you so much. Thank you, Manon, and thank you, Celine, in the backstage. And have all a great day, and we are looking forward to read and receive your applications.